Every day I probably went past this church too. And now I'm 35 years later, speaking in here about veterans. And I'm going to speak on something real briefly tonight, as brief as I can be. Those that heard me on Thursday, they know that that's probably not going to happen. About something that we don't want to talk about, but we need to. As Ken had mentioned, I currently hold 2 bachelor's degrees. One's in education, one is in psychology with a specialty in military resiliency, a new program that is out there now for those that want to specialize with veterans. I know the veteran perspective. Now I want to go back and help my brothers and sisters deal with what we are all going through together. You're not alone in this battle. And it is hard for anybody to speak up about PTSD. And it is one of the major things facing each one of us. And I don't care if you were never deployed. You were sent to basic training to train to do a job that is against our human nature. That changes you. It doesn't matter if you were in training and the only thing on the end of your rifle was a blank adapter, or if you were in combat every day, like many of us were. We're still veterans, we still served our country, and that's when Ken came to me and told me about his passion for Warriors Hope, I knew immediately this is what I had to be a part of. Since I've been back from Iraq, I've lost more people, more of my brothers, that if I put them on this bracelet, would be 3 times the size to suicide. Or mental health conditions that they were never treated for. You know, we all joke around about the VA. You know, you get hurry up and wait, and then you get out and the government still says, well, hurry up and wait again. We all have our stories, good, bad, ugly, about VA. There's still many in there that care for you. But Warriors Hope is going to be here for you as another asset. So if you're alone and you want help, take up our cards, our brochures. That's what our phone numbers, our emails are there for. And we will get you the help. And we will work with it as much as possible. We have connections that we can use to get you the right amount of help. But let me just go through and first off, from family, thank you for your service. Young, old, it does not matter. You served, you put on the uniform, that makes you family in my boat. Now you're a civilian. Now what? And I mean this for those that are just out. I got out in 2011, medically discharged. But now what? I've talked to Vietnam veterans. For those of you that have ever heard of Walleyes for Warriors with Nels Larsons, I was his co-coordinator for many years, up until the big city Elks took it over. I talked to Vietnam, Korea veterans. They're still asking themselves the question, I'm out, now what? So this is not a question just for the younger generation. This is for every veteran. Military prepares you for service, and they do a very fine job with that. They do it day in, day out. Those drill sergeants, well, they definitely know how to get under your skin. From the first second that guy walks on that bus and opens his mouth till he shakes your hand and salutes you when you graduate. Those guys prepare your mind, your body, your soul for combat. It doesn't matter, infantry, Army, that was me, so I'm kind of partial to them. Air Force, Marines, male, female, Coast Guard. It doesn't matter what branch of service you were in, and I don't care if it was Reserves, National Guard. We'll still tease you, but you're still family. I especially like this guy. That brings back memories. I didn't say fond, but that brings back memories. This is what the military trains you for. Like I said, they do a good job at it. Yes, that's his face. He's yelling at him. For those of you that can't see, that's a drill sergeant. Somebody done messed up. They do a good job at this. We have the finest military around. They train us to make sure we do everything in our power to make sure our boys come home, our girls come home. We fight side by side. I've been over when I was deployed, I fought right next to Marines, to Navy, Air Force. We're all on the same team. They trained us to compartmentalize. You take an attack in one city, well now you have to go give aid to that city. You know what? You compartmentalize. You shut down that part of your brain that says, these guys just tried to kill us and now we have to go help them. And for those of you that are civilians that have never been in this situation, there was many times we lost men and had to go back into that exact same spot to help people out. That was our job. And the military teaches you how to shut that off and say, okay, turn your emotions off. But then you're getting ready to ETS. You're ready to get out. All right, you're looking forward to it. You're ready to get out. All right, so here is everything the military prepares you for leaving the service.
That's it.
That's it. This is something that they try to scoot under the rug. Sure, Ken will mention later on, but we have people from Hopewell Ranch right here. Their ranch out in Weidman, Michigan, spelled just like my last name. I went out and spoke for them Thursday night. I had a great time out there. They have Project Solomon for veterans. Phenomenal, phenomenal program. When I got out of the service, when I got out of deployment 2009, 3 months later, 3 months later, my wife, who stayed in the back there, had to wake me up. Because in my mind, I was under attack. And the aggression was towards her. I was sound asleep. I went to a counselor. They didn't want the numbers. They had too high of numbers. Went to a counselor while I was on active duty. He said, get over it. That's what we're changing. I've been to certain other counselors, and they try to excuse it. They try to say it was pre-existing anxiety disorder, which it was not. If you know me before high school, I wasn't anxious about anything. Unless mom's cooking, that's about it. We don't want to talk about the hidden wounds of combat. We don't want to talk about PTSD. They are invisible. You have a guy that loses a limb to an attack, you can see he's damaged. You have a guy that's suffering from PTSD as a veteran, he'll look just like you and me. You'll go walk past him 100 times a day and not know that he's still in his mind fighting some of those exact same battles over and over. For many of the military men that are here and women, I see a lot of people shaking their head. The war is over for every one of us in here. I don't think anybody's on active duty. The battle still rages on inside. And if you have not received help, that's what my training is into, and I have helped some veterans, and I talk to some veterans. I know that's what Ken, his passion is for, and you can see it just in the way he talks. We're here to help. But you may say, okay, PTSD, I've got it. It isn't about what's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. If you have post-traumatic stress disorder, there is nothing wrong with you. It's about what happened to you. Nothing you did wrong. You did not bring it on yourself. You were following orders. To this day, there's still some orders I'm still shaking my head to, but you know what? I followed orders. I did my job. I brought my men home. But what does PTSD affect? From talking to certain veterans and even those that have PTSD, because it's not just a combat-related disorder, it's post-traumatic, after a traumatic incident. What does it affect? Everything. That's pretty much how much you can sum it up. It affects everything. Some of the words you can't see, irritable feelings, always feeling like something bad's going to happen. You have flashbacks. You have feelings of hurting yourself or hurting someone else. Yeah, you're not alone in that either. Some call it suicidal thoughts. Some call them death thoughts. Some call intrusive thoughts. But they're a part of who you are now. We want to help you gain those coping mechanisms so you're still with us for the next year's annual. Because I'm telling you, we'll be somewhere. I don't know where yet. Maybe here, but you guys booked for next year? You are now. But anxiety, hypervigilance, guilty, anxious, your hyperarousal, always looking out. Yeah. How many of you veterans enjoy walking into a crowded area? How many of you enjoy being around crowds and in where everybody's just running around? Drives me nuts. There's been plenty of times that my wife has had to take me out of a building or into where it was less crowded just so I could calm down and walk out. Never had to do that before I deployed. That's what we're talking about here. If it wasn't for the support system that I have, there's no way I'd be standing here talking. And this is my second time this week talking about PTSD on myself. Opening up a part of me to you to show you're not alone. We don't want to talk about this. I don't want to be up here talking about PTSD. I don't want to let anybody in. But we have to help ourselves heal and to say to someone else out there and outside of these doors, you're not alone. You're not the only one going through this. Now, why do I have a butterfly up here for PTSD? Well, it's almost summertime. This is how a veteran views themselves. It's like looking in a mirror. This right here is what we all see. It's on the outside. This is what they see when they look at a mirror or start looking in at themselves. For our veterans here that are looking at yourself like this, you're the only one that sees you like that. It goes back to that statement. It's not what you did, it's about what happened to you. And it's our job as those in the psychology field who have done a disservice. And I've been on the hand of some great psychologists, a great therapist right here. He's not only my director, he's also my therapist. So some of our board meetings was just the two of us. Oh, we do not record those.
3.5-hour therapy session.
And it was a 15-minute meeting. This is for those that have never been through this, and I want to try to bring you in to the world that I spent so many years pushing everybody away. My wife, my parents, my family, to show, I'm okay. I'm okay. When a vet's saying that to you, I'm okay. We're lying. This is not okay. This physical side. This is the mental side. Our brains have been scrambled due to the combat that we went through and the training we went through. We may never be like this again, the way we look at ourselves. I know that person that left and arrived in Iraq December 25th, 2007, and was 6 feet away from the tarmac when they said, okay, there's where you're living for the next 15 months, go. And those 6 rounds hit. I will never be that guy. But you know what? I've learned not too much in the near past, if I can say that, that's okay. We don't have to become that guy. This is what we have now. This is what we have to work with. Our brain has been psychologically scrambled. So now we need to build the blockers up, build a support system to help each other out, have somebody that we talk to. Because it will affect, I did not realize until last year, September, how much my PTSD from combat was affecting my kids who were not born until years after I got back from Iraq. And how much it was affecting my family. It impacts the spirit, soul, mind, emotions, memory, and bodies. Yep, that's pretty much covers it. Like I said earlier, everything. You have the event. And many of the veterans know this wheel. You probably see it at the VA. This is for your families. Because this is also what Warriors Hope is about. We're not just going to service just the veteran. We're going to bring your family in and find the real story. When I would talk to even Ken and say, yeah, this is going on, this, I know sometimes he picked up the phone. All right, what's really going on? This is what he said, and my wife would tell the side that I didn't want to say. But we also want to help the families and how to help the veteran cope. You have a support system sitting to your left and right. You know, it's already there, it's already established. It's going to be your strongest bond, especially for those of you that are married. That will be your strongest bond. But you have the event. Okay, the event happened. We're back home. Now you have the pain, the nightmares, the flashbacks, the anxiety. It builds up right here. It's like heartburn on steroids. That's what I call it. It hurts so much that there's nothing you can do to counteract it. It shuts your body down. It's your way of your brain rebooting the system, if you would, to say, okay, the last time I felt like this, we were in combat, so I'm going to shut down. Because that's what we did back then. You took fire, you returned fire. You did your training, you shut down and became a machine. So you have the pain, then you have the guilt and the shame. Well, this happened. Yeah, and for some of you, I apologize if I'm doing any type of triggers on you. I know how that feels. But if we keep quiet about it, we're not helping each other out like we should ourselves as veterans. You have the guilt and the shame. Been through that. Anxiety and fear. This isn't just anxiety on your flashbacks. This is anxiety on my child spilt a cup of milk and I'm anxious about it. Why am I anxious about it? I don't know, but I've got to do something about it. It's just milk. It's not the kid's fault. It's not your fault either. That's the PTSD just running through you. Doing the normal course of what it does. The way you combat it is you call for reinforcements. You were never allowed to go anywhere without a battle buddy. And if you're by yourself now, come see me. I'll give you my phone number. I've got a few cards. You will have my number before you leave here, and you've got another battle buddy. Then because you have the guilt, the shame, the anxiety, the fear, you go into anger and resentment. Man, I yelled at my kids because of that spilt milk. Yes, this is a personal testimony. I have yelled at my kids for spilt milk. My wife will tell you, will affirm it's happened. Because she had to step between me and say, you need to walk away. My kids are 6, 4, and almost 2. You get angry resentment. Man, I just yelled at my kids. Now why did I do that? I'm worthless. It's how you feel afterwards. You have the high, the low, the high, the low. Yeah, your brain's not geared for that. Then after anger resentment comes depression. Now what? Everybody saw that happen. I can't hide it. What am I going to do now? So you pick up the phone and we'll answer. Call us until you get an answer. Emails are on our cards. And we'll help you get the blockers. We'll help work with the ABC, the antecedent, the behavior, and the consequence. We'll help you realize ahead of time that there's a psychological ambush about to happen. We're going to give you the tools that you should have had when you got out to help you now. Post-traumatic stress disorder. There are wounds that never show on the body that are deeper and more hurtful than anything that bleeds. Don't wait until the last part of your rope breaks. As long as you're still attached, we can reattach you. If you've already broke, we can fix you. For the veteran out there that's suffering, and I know you all are, all in your own scales, some small, some large, you're not alone. I love the name Warriors Hope. My daughter's name, middle name is Hope. I made sure that was in her name when I got back from Iraq because I knew I needed it. This symbol, not going to do a bat symbol or anything, but this symbol, I want it to be your hope. Allow us to be your hope. We're not going to stand here and say, okay, you're down on the ground. This is what you need to do. We're going to get down there and help you get back up. You deserve it.